You know, capitalism can be an incredibly powerful tool for good. It can also be an incredibly powerful tool for evil. It can lift 500 million people in China out of desperate poverty into a middle class, or it can create unconscionable inequity. A few years ago, 300 people in the world had as much wealth as half the world's population. Today, that number is just 8 people. And so we can create a capitalism of shared prosperity, but it is not automatic. It is not a self-fulfilling prophecy. The idea of creating shared value says that not all profit is equal. There is profit that is rent-paying, that is extracting value from a society without giving back, as we see, as Africa has lived through with its natural resources. And there is a profit that goes back to the community, not as philanthropy, but as wages, as taxes for government, as philanthropy as well, sure. But it creates a virtuous cycle where the economic wealth that is created benefits the community, which raises the level of education, which raises the local resources, which creates even more wealth in the future. And what shared value is about is creating that virtuous cycle. Africa has leapfrogged the world in technology. I would like to see Africa leapfrog the world in the right way to do capitalism. The idea of creating shared value has become a national and global movement that Professor Porter and I certainly never foresaw when we wrote that article 6 or 7 years ago. But for all the momentum this idea has had, there are a lot of different definitions of what shared value really means. And I can't let you sit through a whole day talking about shared value without taking a few minutes to try and be very clear about at least what Michael Porter and I meant when we wrote this article on creating shared value. Because as has been said several times, it's not corporate social investment, it's not philanthropy, it's not about the reputation of a company. Shared value is a competitive strategy. It is a way for companies to grow, to become more profitable, and to find a stronger competitive position.
What we've learned is that if we really want to move the needle on societal issues and societal problems, we need to do it through the business, using the business itself as part of strategy. And that makes purpose, first of all, well implemented, but it also makes it scalable. If you're using a profitable business model to deliver your purpose, then you can deliver that purpose as much as you want. The purpose is the why should companies do something, and the most common definition of that is this is our fundamental reason for being. That's kind of if I had to pick one way of defining purpose now that's used in practice, it would be that. So we decide what our fundamental reason for being in, and that's got to be connected to our business. It can't just be a random good thing to do. And then the shared value part is the how. How do we go about benefiting society and moving the needle on an important social issue through the business with a business model so that we can scale it and improve it and drive it over time? That's ultimately the combination that we have to put in place in more and more organizations. It's happening, but there's a long way to go, and all of you part of this session today are going to be the key actors in that process.